before I get going. You guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up in the comments. Let me know you hear me before I get going. Welcome, welcome to the Fall Crop and Create class homework for the Floral Autumn Splendor class. This is the Hero Arts class. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. Just going to check and see a minute here for there's a little lag, so I'm just going to see if there's any problem with the audio before I get going. Hi, hello friends. Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Oh, great. You can hear me. Awesome, awesome. Okay. So welcome to the homework. We're going to go over all the homework for this class. This is a live, so if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in. It is helpful to put it all in caps, just like either Catherine or Megan said before for Scrapbook and Cards Today. They noted that makes it a little bit easier to see, so great. I really appreciate you guys letting me know you can hear me. But yeah, I'm not only going to go over the homework, I also will take this opportunity to address any questions you might have. I know there was some concerns about the cardstock between the Hero Arts class, which is the Floral Autumn Splendor class, and the Spellbinders class, Kim's class, which is the Regal Reflections class. So I want to clear any of that up. You guys will have enough cardstock, just enough at least, that we can make it work, no problem. And you guys will create basically the exact same cards that you see in the book. There's just little tweaks, and that will mean there's a little difference in the instruction. It's very, very minor, and that we will tackle in class. So please, please, please don't stress. I'm sure we can get it all through, figure it out. Nice. Okay, great. And also, in addition to covering the homework and addressing any of those cardstock questions, I'm happy to address ink questions. I usually get a lot of ink questions. Today, for my class this time, it's mostly just colors. That's the only thing that's really, the inks that I selected is purely based on the colors. But I'll go over my ink picks because I do use a lot. And I can help you even find some substitutions because I'm happy to work with that too. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change to my desktop view, and we'll get started on the homework. And let me switch here. There we go. And I've got my paper pack. I got the paper here. We'll start with the paper pack. So, Spellbinders and Hero Arts. So Kim's class and my class. Kim's class, again, the Spellbinders class, is the Regal Reflections class. And my class, the Floral Autumn Splendor class, we are sharing your cardstocks. So those cardstocks all came together in one pack, and it likely says Spellbinders on the top of it. So that's what you're going to look for to pull from for the cardstocks for my... Oh, thank you, Angie. I see your comment. You like my palette. Thank you. I went for a fall color palette. You know, I'm going to move my picture down just a little bit because I can see I'm right in front of the live. That way you can see my face a little bit better. But we're sharing cardstocks between those two classes. So I'm sorry if that was a little confusing because usually things are divvied up a little bit. But yes, we are sharing. Luckily, I'm only using 2 cardstock colors. And before I get into this, Kim goes over all of this in her homework video. And I will go over it again in this video as well. But I do think if you're watching this on replay and you haven't seen Kim's video, which again is the Regal Reflections class, if you haven't seen that homework video, check that one out first before this one, because I think that makes it a little bit more clearer. I will repeat it all here, but I think because a lot of it is focused on her die cutting, how we have things divvied up and divided, I think it does make it a little bit clearer there. So definitely check that out as well. Okay, I'm just going to see we're still going. Great. Okay, so this is the colored cardstock that'll be split between those two classes, the pack. I will only be using 2 colored cardstock sheets from this, Bellini and Merlot. And I'm sure you guys are going, how can I tell? How do I know which is Bellini, which is Bellini, and which is Merlot? Which I just realized now aren't those both drinks? I just realized that now. I picked the 2 drinks, right? Isn't Bellini a drink? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You guys tell me. Am I wrong? Is a Bellini a drink? But there are 15 different half sheets, different half sheet colors in this pack. These are all the colors. You have, I don't want to go through all of them because I feel like that might get confusing, but there's a very light pink. It's the lightest in the pack. It's almost like skin tone or like a peachy skin tone color maybe. But this color is the Bellini. And then the Merlot is just like you would think it would be, like a red wine. It's this one right here. So those are the only two. The rest of them you'll be using for Kim's class. So save those for hers. But these are the only two cardstocks that we are actually going to really share. So really share. Oh, perfect. So the Kim's video, I just read the comment from Scrapbook and Cards today. Kim's video is just getting uploaded. She just finished it, so check that out after as well. Bellini is a peach juice. See, I picked the two. I didn't mean to. I picked the two cocktails, you know? I honestly didn't even think about it. So we're sharing these. We're going to be splitting these in half, and I'm going to be only using an A2 panel of the Bellini for my class. The other panel will go to Kim. In her video, she does a great job of pretending to pass it to me, so we're going to do the same. And then for the Merlot, I'm going to use an A2 panel, and then I'm actually going to use half of an A2 panel. So the last quarter here will be for Kim's class. So let's start by dividing that up. Oh, perfect. Angie says the colors are on the label and listed in order. Perfect. That's wonderful, Angie. Question. I have a question from Norma. Can we purchase additional cardstocks just in case you mess up? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. We don't have a pack. This was a special pack created just for the Crop and Create classes. So you don't have a special pack available, but you can purchase these individual sheets, like a pack of the Merlot or a pack of Bellini, both on the Hero Arts website as well as on the Spellbinders website. So you can get more cardstock. And again, these are the only two that we are really sharing. The rest, from the pack, the rest will all be used in Kim's class. These are the only two that we're kind of splitting between each other. Question, Hero Arts Core Inks dye. So that's a great question, Beth. Hero Arts Core Inks are actually, some are dye, and some are dye, or a hybrid, I should say. So some are dye and some are a hybrid. They will say on the back, for what I'm doing right now in class, before I get in, I don't really want to, I can get into it, I'd happy to. I just don't want to confuse anybody. For how I'm using the inks in my class, I'm just using them to ink blend. So it doesn't really matter if you're color matching, trying to substitute what I have picked for what you already have. It doesn't really matter if you use a dye or a hybrid. It won't really matter. You could even use a pigment, but I would recommend either a dye or a hybrid, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see. I have another question from Kay. In the book, you say it's yes. So that's where there's going to be a little different. In the book, yes. Okay, so there is an instruction in the book where I say I'm going to use two of these. We actually only need, I think, two panels of the Merlot, but we cut it down to I will only use one panel of the Merlot and then a quarter of a panel. That's really all we need. Okay, Beth, great. Good, I'm glad I answered your question. And again, if you have more ink questions or you want to get into more, I'm happy to. I don't want to give you too much information, then it gets confusing. And I have a tendency to do that, so I have to catch myself. All right, so we're going to start simply by cutting these panels up. And again, Kim does this in her video, which I'm realizing mine is coming out first, but if you watch her video, she'll do the same thing and she'll say, passing that panel on to Shannon. So this is going to be a little repetitive if you're watching this on replay and you've already seen Kim's video. All right, but I promise you have enough cardstock to do the classes. You don't have to worry. There's only one little catch, and that is cutting this panel into another quarter. Let's start with the Bellini, the easy one. We're going to cut this in half, and I'm going to make sure I'm on screen here. It's 8.5 by 5.5, so we're gonna cut it at 4 1/4. So I'm measuring to 4 1/4, and that will create 2 A2 panels. There we go. So one of these panels I'll be using in my class, and I'll be ink blending over, so we're gonna put that one here. This panel you'll be using to die cut from for your homework in Kim's class. So we're gonna take this panel for Kim and pass it on to Kim. So for my class, you'll only need 1 A2 panel of Bellini. Now onto the Merlot. The Merlot we're also going to cut in half. So we're gonna go to 4 1/4. Cut it in half, so we have 2 A2 panels. I'm going to be using an A2 panel to die cut from. We'll do that together. So this panel we're going to keep over here in our class. And then this panel we're going to cut in half. And that is going to be 2 3/4. So I've got it at 2 3/4. And we're cutting it on the 5.5 length, so the longer side. So just splitting that A2 panel in half to create 2 halves. 1 half will go to my class, so this is the change. We're going to only use this half panel instead of a whole A2 panel for our third and final card, which is actually, I believe, instruction number 8. Step number 8, I mean. So it'll be changed from a whole A2 panel to just a half panel. Hope that makes sense. And again, this is something we'll be doing in class, so I will walk you through that in class. But we do want to cut this panel in half, so we save this for class, and this other portion here will be used to die cut in Kim's class. She's going to do this in her homework, so she'll actually show you how to die cut this to get all the parts you need to create the card for her class. So we're going to take this, basically half of A2 panel of Merlot aside and give it to Kim. Okay? And that is it. That's the it of the sharing. The rest of it, all the other cardstocks are for Kim's. So I'm going to take all those other cardstocks, as well as this, and that's going to be for Kim's class. So I hope that makes it a little clearer. And she will go over this too in her video, and she'll also do her homework where she'll show you how she die cuts her other elements out of colored cardstock. So now we'll focus on just what you need for homework for my class. All right, we're going to start. We don't have to do anything to this panel, so we're done. So the A2 panel Bellini, done, ready to go. This one we're going to die cut from. You have included in your kit this awesome You Are the Best stamp and cut set. And yours will be much prettier than mine because mine have already been well used and loved. But it is a small 3x4 clear stamp set of linear sentiments. And then you have a U die set. There's 2 dies in this set. And I do want to note it's going to be on the back side of the packaging. So the packaging, you'll see something like this. You'll see the clear, and then on the back you flip it over. That's where you'll see the 2 U dies. So just in case you don't realize so you don't think you're missing anything. Good. I'm hopeful. I'm glad this is helpful. All right, and these dies, I call them in my instruction, this is the U word die, and I call this one the shadow layer. So if you're ever wondering, you know, sometimes I'm like, I think that makes sense, but I never know. Sometimes it makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to anybody else because that's how I think of using it. So, and I'm going to put this panel actually aside. We are not going to cut this, so save this for class so we can actually put that with the Bellini. We can put those 2 aside. I'll put it like that so it's clear. We are going to not use this shadow layer right now. We are only going to use the word die. So this is the one we're using. I'll put the 2 together again just to be clear. We're only going to be using this word die one here, if I can get it out. This one. We'll use this in just a minute for the vellum. So I'm just going to die cut this out 4 times. And let me show you where we're going with this. Let me grab the finished cards. So you need one of those U's for this sentiment here. And then you're going to use the other 3, you're going to stack them up to create a dimensional sentiment, a dimensional die cut. So that's why you have 4. 1 for here and then 3 for here to create a stacked sentiment. And of course, if you are worried about cardstock, if you're worried about making a mistake, you could just pop the, instead of die cutting this 3 more times, you could just die cut it, I should say. Sorry, instead of stacking 3 die cuts together, you could just do 1 die cut and then use foam adhesive, and then you have more space because you'll only end up cutting 2. But I don't want to confuse. I'm going to try to follow the instructions as much as possible. But there are lots of kind of workarounds. The reason why I stack it, just to be clear, because I love how clean and polished that is when you look from the side. It doesn't have any of that foam adhesive. I just think it's a prettier look. So we're going to die cut this now, this U 4 times. I'm going to grab my die cutting plates. And it does fit on there. You do have to be kind of strategic with how you place it, but they do fit on here. So we're going to start in that upper left corner. But I'm sure you guys are pretty good. Crafters are pretty good about using their cardstock. Thank you, Michelle. I'm glad you like them. They were really fun to create. I can't wait to kind of show you some of the techniques that I used with the layering stencils. You guys are gonna have fun. I hope you guys have fun. I really enjoyed playing with them. Pop out those negative pieces. Okay, there's 1. We have 3 more to go. So this time I'm going to flip it like that, rotate it, and there we go. We fit another one in there. And grab my top plate. Run that through. Oh, thanks, Jill. Oh, you guys make me feel so good. I always feel like Crop and Create has the best group of people ever. You guys are amazing. You're always so kind and encouraging. You just make my day. I'm always like, I can't wait to do another one, Catherine. I would love to do another one. It's such a great community. Isn't the Merlot so pretty? So there's another one. We've got 2. And basically we're going to repeat just what we did here on this half. So kind of over there on the right or the left. Gosh, I get my directions mixed up. Got that. That out. Perfect. And we just have 1 more to die cut. So not too much homework. We have a little bit more die cutting to do with the vellum, but after that we're good. And look, we even have a little bit left over. So if you, and I would save everything, you know, anything you have left over, save it, especially for Kim's class, just in case you do make a mistake die cutting, you'll have a little bit of cardstock left over. Okay, I'm going to die cut that. All right, pop that out. Get rid of all those little negative pieces. And that is it. So we have, again, our 4 U word die cuts. This is actually just scrapped or left over. And again, if you want to be, you know, there's some cardstock still left here. If you kept it really close and tight like I did, you might have a little bit left over, and you can save that for Kim's class. So I'm going to just put that again. I'll show it because I think it really helps to see. Again, over here with my other cardstock for Kim's class, which again is the Regal Reflections. All right, now that's it for the colored cardstock. So we're done with that. I'm going to put these aside. We're now on to the creating our card bases and die cutting our vellum and white layer. So I forgot about our white layer. We do have a white layer here. So before we can do any of this, we need to start by trimming down our white cardstock. So you will need, I should say, 2 full sheets. So 8.5 by 11 sheets of white cardstock. This is going to be for your card bases. And I dropped my top plate, so I'll have to get up and get that. I'm going to be creating top folding cards, but actually for the 3 cards I'm creating, if you prefer, for these 3 cards, if you prefer side folding, then you can cut these card bases to create side folding cards if you prefer. But I'm going to do top folding because that's my preference. So I'm going to take a sheet here, go to 4 1/4, and cut it down. So I have now 2 top folding card bases. I'm going to repeat that for the second panel, or second sheet I should say. 4 1/4, cut it in half. So now I have 4 card bases. We're going to take one of these and cut it in half to create 2 A2 panels. So this is the long side, so we're going to go to 5 1/2. So 5 1/2. And we have 2 A2 panels. Now you're actually only going to need one of these, so you can put this other one aside, save it for another class, another project. We'll only need 1 panel. So when you're done with the white cardstock, when you're done trimming it, you'll have 3 top folding card bases and 1 A2 panel. That's really all you need. And I'm going to go ahead and score these. Where's my score tool? I didn't expect that to be missing. Well, gosh, I gotta have it somewhere. I apologize, guys. That's not where I normally have it. Okay, I'll pick up my plate since I dropped that. Oh, I found it. I found it. It fell on the floor. Of course. That's where things always end up. I don't know why I ever look anywhere else. No, I'm happy to go over this. I don't want anybody to be confused. And I want everybody to go into class feeling like, okay, they got it, right? I don't want, especially since we have enough to do everything. And Kim was so kind. Kim says she takes the fall, but I feel like if you watch her video, which you should, because she goes over all the homework. Again, I'm making a card base, so I'm going to score at 5 1/2. She says it was her mistake, but I feel like it was my mistake about the cardstock. I ended up using more than I expected to need. I thought I only needed an A2 panel, and as you can see, I used more than an A2 panel. There's one card base. Michelle, that's a great question. There could be, maybe. We're working on things, but we're still figuring things out. That's what I will say. But you should see maybe some inks in the future that match. All right, so I just scored my 3 card bases. There we go. So we have those 3. We can set those aside. Now for this panel, we're going to die cut another Again, I'm going to grab the cards. We're going to die cut another U word die, which again is not the shadow layer. It's this one here. So we're going to die cut the white cardstock with that. So you can go ahead and do that right now. Ooh, it is hot. We're getting a little humid in Arizona, and I am just not, I am a desert girly. And I feel like I become a wilted flower when there's any humidity whatsoever. I'm just not used to it. It's probably like 8%, but usually we're like at 0. So, all right, I'm gonna die cut that out. There we go. So now we have a U out of white cardstock. Just set that down with my 4 Merlot ones. And then we're still not done with this panel of white cardstock. The next thing I asked for you to do in your homework is to actually stamp 3 sentiments from this set in black ink and then trim them down to sentiment strips. So I chose, and I'm just going to put these card bases over here to the side. Let's see if I got everything on screen. And I'll do a final when we're all done with the homework. I'll do kind of a final shot here so you can see everything together for the class, just to hopefully, again, make it very clear. So I chose You Are the Best, Make Life Better, and So Thankful for You. So I'm going to pull those off. Let's see. You are the best right here. Make life better. And so thankful for you up here. Okay. Question. Is all this white from the... It is, but it doesn't have to be. The card bases, I do recommend that you do the 100-pound cardstock. Because I asked for 2 sheets, I just decided, and I only needed really a sheet and a half. I just used that leftover panel for the U and the sentiment strips. But you could definitely do this with just scraps too, if you have that. If you want to you want to save all your 100-pound cardstock for other cards or other class projects, that's totally fine. This U and our 3 sentiment strips do not have to be out of that heavyweight cardstock. Just white, that's all. Just white. And I know there's some white cardstock included in Kim's pack, so you could maybe use that if you wanted to, but I think I would just stick with how I used the A2 panel, I should say, left over. Where's my Misty? And we don't need very much. We just need a tiny bit for that U and our 3 sentiment strips. Whew. I'm gonna pick this up, put it here. So hopefully you can see everything. There we go. Great. I'm glad. I hope that answered it. Good. And then I'll put these 3 sentiments in here. Give them a little space, and if I want to be a little conservative, I can do it up here. Though I ended up getting some kind of weird mark. There we go. Erase that. And we're just going to stamp these in black ink. So real simple. Any black ink will do. It doesn't have to be alcohol marker friendly or anything like that. Just any black ink will do. So just pick your favorite. Stick it to me. There we go. Okay, pick these up. And then I will stamp them in my black ink. Of course, I'm going to be using Hero Arts Intensified Black. It's one of my favorites. It is not only an alcohol marker friendly ink, it is also a waterproof ink, so I use it all the time. it one more time. I love the really thin, beautiful thin lines of these sentiments. I think they look so pretty that when they're cut into sentiment strips and then paired with that scripty U, I love it. I think it's such a pretty look. I am going to do one more time and then I think I'll be happy with that. Oh, I got that again here in Indiana today. False fall. I never heard that before. I think it's because we just don't even have fall here really in Arizona. I've never heard false fall. Interesting. All right, I'm now going to trim these. Now, you could use your paper trimmer to trim these down to strips. I prefer using a craft knife and a ruler, so that's what I'm going to use. So grab this here. So warm today. I don't know what the weather is today in Arizona, but I know it feels humid because it's warm. So just line this up. Do the other side. There we go. I'll trim this down once I get the other ones out. I'll trim it down with scissors. I do think my blade is a little, oh, 101 right now. Okay. Oh, see, that I shouldn't be complaining at 101 really, because that's where, you know, I'm a native. Should be very used to it, but I think it's a little humid. Okay, then you'll know the humidity level, right? It's got to be low, but it feels humid. We're in monsoon season now, even though I don't think it's rained in a few days, but I don't know. I'm feeling it today. All right, one more to go. West Valley, humid is 34. Oh, see, that feels hot. That's high, right? Val, help me out. That seems high for Arizona, right? We're usually like nothing. All right, last one. There we go. So this is left over. The other A2 panel is left over. We're not going to be using any more white cardstock for the class. Oh, I take that back. I take that back. This is a white cardstock panel. So that one we had before, sorry guys for the confusion, that one we had before, left over, we need that for this. Whew. I'm going to trim these down real quick. So sorry, forgot about that one. Yeah, the ruler is magnetic. Yes, Angie, it sticks. So it kind of helps hold it in place a little bit. And last one. All right, so there are our 3 sentiment strips. And I will draw attention to my mistake that I said one more time, because I did make a mistake. So we had 2 full sheets of white cardstock. We trimmed those sheets down to create 3 card bases, top folding card bases. And then we had 2 A2 panels left over. From the second panel, we created 3 sentiment strips and die cut a U, and this panel actually be used for this card here. We'll ink blend on it to create this blended background. So you do actually need that other panel. I'm going to fan myself down just for a second. So put that aside. And again, like I said, I'll put everything out in front so there's one final shot of everything that you need for homework and to prep for the class. I think there's only one more thing left to do after all this, and that's the vellum. So I'm not sure how your vellum will come. That was supplied to you from, graciously supplied to you, just like the white cardstock from Scrapbook Cards and Today. But you should have some vellum in your kit. You don't need very much. We are only going to die cut 2 shadow layers for the U. I'll grab the 2 U dies. I am ink blending on the 100-pound cardstock, but that was just for simplicity's sake, so I didn't have to ask for more paper. But you could, if you want to ink blend on 80-pound, that's fine too. It really doesn't matter. Either will work. Can't find the vellum. I think that was included. It wasn't in the paper pack. It wasn't supplied by Spellbinders. It was, again, supplied by Scrapbook and Cards Today. So I'm not sure where it is. We don't need very much. And any vellum will work. It doesn't have to be, like if you have some scrap vellum, that will work too. We don't need very much. We're just going to die cut 2 of these, the shadow layer U's, out of the vellum cardstock. And again, this is vellum I have. I'm not totally sure what your vellum will look like. The vellum will be, oh, thank you, Jill. She says the vellum will be a full 8.5 by 11 sheet tucked in with your white cardstock. Thank you so much, Jill. That's so helpful. So let's see. Barbara, try to look within your white cardstock. It's in the paper pack near the dark cardstock. Oh, you guys are so helpful. Thank you for that. So if it's a full sheet, then you'll need to trim it down to maybe a half sheet. Oh, there you go. I stamped the whole sheet of stamps together. I think that works. It's usually stuck to the acetate. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Scrapbook and Cards Today. Perfect. Perfect. It was hiding. It's always the one you're looking for, right? That's hiding the most. I'm going to go ahead and die cut this vellum with my U. And again, it's the shadow layer. So I'm going to show you the 2 dies that you have. We're not doing the word die this time. So not this one, this one. So I'm going to die cut that out of my vellum twice. So there's one. And then I'm going to flip it because it's just a really great way to save space to die cut the second shadow one. That is an amazing idea. Do you stamp all your sentiments at once? That's a great idea. And you have a bunch. And we had enough cardstock left over to do that. There we go. And that, believe it or not, I'll lay it all out, but that's all of your homework. That is it. I'm going to put my dies aside. Maybe I'll match up the dies. So, I'll lay them out so we can see everything. Let's do it this way. There. We all on shot? There we go. I think that's pretty good. I'm just gonna be looking at my camera here and tweaking to lay it all out, and then I'll go over it because I want to make sure everything's unshot. And this is probably the most important thing, so I'm putting it in the center because I think I was thinking the most confusing part. Okay, so that is everything you will need. I'm gonna pop over here to this camera. I'm looking through, you guys are probably, what's she doing? She's messing. The lag, I was looking through the camera that's lagged, and making it harder for me. I don't know why I was doing that. Okay, so you have 3 A2 top folding white card bases. You will create those as well as 2 A2 panels from 2 full sheets of white cardstock. 1 A2 panel will be used in class, will be used to create this panel here. You'll need to die cut from the second panel a U, and then create 3 sentiment strips as well from that second panel. So that's the white cardstock. As for the vellum, you have a sheet of vellum included in your whole Crop and Create kit box. You'll need to die cut 2 U's. Now these are the shadow layers. See how they're different than these? 2 shadow layer U's out of the vellum, and that's it. That's all you need for the vellum for the whole class. Then for the colored cardstock, Kim and I are sharing cardstocks. So Kim's class is the Spellbinders class, which is the Regal Reflections class. We are sharing the Bellini and the Merlot. You'll need 1 A2 panel of Bellini cardstock for my class, and then you'll need a A2 panel of Merlot to die cut these 4 U's from, and then you'll need a half of a panel, so 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 panel to be used in the background of this card, and that's all you need to go back there, because you can see, I can hold up here, that'll go like right there and be the Merlot you see behind here, and that's it. And this is different in the instructions. This is card number 3, step number 8. You just want to change, if you do want to change the instructions for step number 8, just change it from an A2 panel to a half A2 panel of Merlot. That's it. All right. Hope that guys helped clear things up. The next thing I'm going to talk about is that's all the homework. So if that was all you wanted to kind of see is go over the homework, that's it. You're ready for class. I look forward to it, seeing you guys again in class. The next thing I'm going to go over is the inks really quick and answer any questions you might have. If there is more cardstock questions, feel free to pop them into the chat section and I will address those as well. But I'm going to clear my space here just a second. Put that aside. And so the inks. We are using the class. We're using an awesome layering stencil set that was designed just for this class. Our creative director asked me, she's like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, can we please have a layering stencil set that allows you to ink blend the background? So the Autumn Splendor layering stencil set, the color layering stencil set, has 5 stencils in it, a lot of stencils, and the last layer is for the background, which I love. That allows you to do some really cool techniques, and we're going to play around with that concept in class. But because there are so many stencils, we are using, and we are, this is basically the focal point of our card, we are using a lot of inks. I actually use 7 inks in total, so that is a lot, I know. I try to keep inks less, but for this class, it's the main focus is all the color from the inks. And I am using, of course, Hero Art inks, some wonderful core inks. I had a question earlier if Hero Art core inks are dye or hybrid. They're actually a mix of both. Some inks in the core collection are dye, and some of them are hybrid. And I believe the colors I'm using, there is actually a mixture of both. So these are all the colors I'm using. We have Butterbar, Fawn, Pumpkin, Pink Grapefruit, my brain just broke, Plum, I love that color. This one's Forever Green and Field Green. So these are all the colors I'm using. I'll pull out the inks if that's helpful. Yay, Angie, I love it too. So there's Field Greens, Forever Green, Plum. And actually, before I pull these all out, I should show you. So because I was using so many inks, I asked Hero Arts if they could make special packs of the cubes just for us. So if you do want to purchase the exact same inks I'm using, we have these smaller curated packs just for our class. You can get these over on Hero Arts website. These are nice because they're the cubes. They're a little bit smaller and so lower price point, so you guys can give them a try. I really love them. Yes, you guys are going to get a workout for sure. Question, does the Hero Arts Core Ink have re-inkers? They do have re-inkers. They do. So these are the ones we'll be using, these 2 packs, and this is it. This is all the colored ink you'll be using in class. In fact, actually, we don't even use Cup of Joe. Like I said, we only use 7 colors, but I will say the names of these 2 packs real quick. We have, this one is the Pumpkin Patch Ink Cubes pack, and these are $12.99. And then this one is the Vineyard Ink Cube pack. And again, $12.99. So this is a little bit lower price point if you do choose to use the exact same inks I'm using. But again, you can substitute these colors with similar colors that you have or that you own. So feel free to do that. I am happy to help you pick out colors. I know, like I was saying before, this group is such an amazing group. The Crop and Create Facebook group, a lot of people have shared comparable ink colors either in distress ink or other lines. So check out the resources that this great community has already created. But if you do have questions about specific colors, I'm happy to try to work them out and see what a good, oh, I got a couple questions here. Are the ink cubes that used to be included in my monthly hero kits part of the core line? Some of them are, Chrissy, that's a tricky question. Some of them are. Sometimes we would make, we have, in addition to our core line, we have the reactive inks. They are water reactive, very fun. Actually, I've used them in past Crop and Creates. I've used those inks because there's so many fun techniques you can do with them. They are technically, though the reactive inks are not part of our core line. And sometimes in our past kits, we included a reactive ink cube instead of a core ink cube. So it's a little tricky to, I could tell you specific which colors, but you can definitely check our website and match your ink name and then find it if it's a core or a reactive. And reactive ink would work for this class. The only problem is the reactive colors palette is brighter and more vibrant. We are going for more subtle autumn shades, so that's why I didn't pull for that ink line for the class. Getting through all the questions here. Does Hero Arts Core Ink have re-inkers? I did answer that one. Okay, so these are the colors I'll be using. I'll pull these out real quick. We have Butter Bar here. And this is from the Pumpkin Patch. Butter Bar, Fawn, Pink Grapefruit, Pumpkin. And then from the Vineyard, we're using only 3. The Forever Green, Field Greens, and the Plum. But the Cup of Joe could easily be used on the projects as well because it's a great brown that you could use for some of the stems instead of, which we use Plum for all the stems. Perfect, Christy. Yeah, check them out. But yeah, those are the colors we'll be using. And again, you can substitute these with dye inks, hybrid inks. You could even use pigment. The only thing is that some of these, the pigment takes longer to dry, so I would maybe not use pigment if you have something else, another ink that's the same color and that's a different formula. I would encourage you to use that as opposed to pure pigment, just because they take so long to dry and that can get messy when you're layering stencils on top. But I think that's it. The only other thing I want to mention besides the inks, and address again, if you have any questions, pop them in there. We will be using blending brushes, obviously. I like to have one blending brush for each color. So I will be using 7 blending brushes, and I do recommend a couple small ones. I use a bunch of different sizes. The size doesn't really matter so much for the, I'm gonna do it like this actually. For these warmer colors, it's just for the greens. I put all my brushes here that I use for the class, like so. For the greens, I recommend smaller brushes because there's some tight areas in the green that we're going to be ink blending, like here where it's just a little bit easier to ink blend those areas with a slightly smaller brush. So if you happen to have some variety of sizes, that'd be great to grab. So there and there, so something like that. So you will need some blending brushes. I'm trying to see that. Yeah, I think that all gets on screen. Yeah, so I'm just gonna hang out here. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask. Again, I know some people in the Facebook group have made substitutions for some of these colors, and I definitely think you can get some close approximates with other lines. I'm not seeing the ink cubes on the website. Go to the core inks. It's under core inks. So when you go to shop, you'll see inks, and then under inks, you'll see core inks, just for kids inks, ombre inks, reactive inks, specialty inks. Click on the core inks, and then you'll see it. There should be the first 2 listings. Hero Arts Pumpkin Patch core inks, and then Hero Arts Vineyard core inks. Pop back to the video. See if that helps, Mary Jo. Yeah, it's under the core ink section. And perfect. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to switch over to my forward facing. And there we go. And I appreciate you guys being so helpful and courteous while we sorted out everything. And definitely check out Kim's video, which will be up shortly. And if you are watching this on replay, like I said earlier, check out her video first, because I think her class comes before mine too, and I just think it makes things, just the order, a little bit more sense. But if you follow the instructions in this, if you did happen to come upon this video first and you did follow along with me, so as long as you followed along with me, you're good. You've got everything set aside for the for the homework for her class and everything. All right, guys, thank you. I love the palette. It's really pretty colors, and I'm so excited about them. I think they're a beautiful fall color. Especially love that plum in there. It's such a pretty color. And it looks so good with the Merlot. All right, guys. Oh, yes, the registration marks make it very easy. Aren't they helpful on the stencils? Yes, Angie, I love those. All right, everybody, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you. Actually, I will see you guys at the meet and greet before class. And that's, again, if you stumble upon some questions, I'm going to be doing that live as well. So that's another opportunity to, ask me some more questions if you stumble upon anything while doing your homework or pulling your supplies for the class. I'm happy to address that as well. Thank you guys so much. You were wonderful. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you at the meet and greet. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Scrapbook and Cards Today shared a link to the core inks. Thank you so much for doing that. That makes it easier. All right. Bye, everyone. There we go.